Good listeners, thank you. This is another episode of Debates Never Die. We are at the halfway point in this strange World Cup season. The first thing I have to mention, and I'm sorry to do this to you guys, Arsenal top of the log, 5 points clear, and I'm I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. I'm like happy going into this break. I'm not happy that there won't be any club football for a while, but personally, I think to be an Arsenal fan at this moment in time is an absolute dream. I think we're sitting at the very top of the game at this moment in time. All eyes on us. There's very little pressure on the club as well, and yeah, I'm in a really great mood. And today we are joined by Tobi and Mvu. Tobi, I'd love to hear from you. So, how are you feeling? How are you feeling at this moment in time?
Yeah,
Yesterday would have ended quite well for you guys. You know, with
yeah,
the Ganacho's last minute winner.
yeah. I'm feeling good, looking better. Everything is going well. Obviously, United at the moment. I guess it's still a journey. We're still in that process, still in that project. But other than that, Garnacho, top performer, probably the best South American wing in the league right now. So there's just things to look up for, and just it's looking good at the moment.
You know
Obviously,
that is such a niche point to try and make. I'm not going to take the bait on that. Um, how are you feeling halfway through the season? What are your main thoughts?
I'm over the moon, man. I cannot lie. Everything that I just needed an Arsenal win after City's results. Got that. I can't complain. We're going into this long break or this month break in the best position possible, you know. And before watching Arsenal, we're so used to disappointment and disappointment and disappointment, and we're almost forced to channel some form of optimism before every game. Where now it's not forced. It's great to watch the team again. So no complaints for me.
come on,
Really, really,
Gunners.
really happy. You know, success. I'm happy. I'm happy.
No, honestly, I'm glad to hear you in such buoyant spirits. But the main game I want to talk about from the Premier League fixtures this weekend, and the team I want to shine a little light on, is Newcastle.
Yeah.
We saw Newcastle play Chelsea this weekend. Newcastle currently in third place, and I feel like it's gone. I don't want to say unnoticed because that wouldn't be true, but maybe they are underappreciated in terms of how quickly they've made this turnaround. Tobi, what are your thoughts on that game? How did you feel?
First of all, I probably just want to speak a little bit on Graham Potter. Listen, I understand that tactically, I guess he's probably one of the best managers in the Premier League. I think what he did at Brighton was very good. But I just don't think you can build a team or have a long-term view in terms of the way he changes tactics. He changes teams and tactics too often, man. And I think it's going against the way Chelsea play. So I think on the weekend, who did they start? That front three of Broja, Gallagher, and who was the third person?
Mount.
Mount. Like, come on, bro. Do you think that team is gonna do anything? Like, do you actually think that team is gonna do anything? So, like, I understand maybe he's trying to try playing new. I mean, put new players on and stuff. But like Aubameyang, I think should be starting. I don't care, even if you're anti Aubameyang or whatever. You need to be playing with a proper striker up front. But in terms of Newcastle, yeah, I've been very impressed with the way they're playing. To be that, like, I guess this lethal with that front three with what Chris Wood, Almiron, who's the other person again?
Joelinton was
Jolin.
playing in the front three.
Oh, was he? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So those three, and like, it's not one of the best front threes in the league, but they're somehow managing to push through. So yeah, just have to commend them, man. Been very impressed.
Yeah. No, they've been really good. Mvu, what are your main thoughts on that on Newcastle generally?
I am surprised. I won't lie. They're doing so well. So I'm not surprised that they're doing well. I'm surprised that they're doing this well. Reason being, I had my doubts about Eddie Howe's appointment.
Yeah.
It seems that you know it's refreshing that with all this money that was coming into this team, Newcastle haven't been in this crazed rush to buy the most expensive players. It seems like they're playing a long game,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it seemed to be paying off faster than any of us could have imagined. So it's quite refreshing to see. I think Malcolm made the point that they're the most. He thinks that they're the most athletic team. So I think that's also another refreshing thing to see in the Premier League. Just a team that can outrun, outmuscle, and still play good football. I don't know how Eddie Howe has done this. But yeah, they've impressed me so much. The fact that Shelby is not even playing so much. He didn't play on Saturday, did he? And he's probably their most talented midfielder.
Huh?
But it just
I agree with that, by the way. But yes, continue. Toby, we'll come back.
Yes, we'll come back to that, Toby. But they're still doing it even without him. Like they just look so good. Yeah, so it's very refreshing. I think that's the best way I can explain it. It's just a very refreshing thing to see.
Yeah. So Toby, you said something about seeing Potter as one of the best tactically. You said I need to rephrase that. You think Potter is what exactly in terms of like his
probably
how
one of the
good
best tacticians.
Is that based on you thinking Brighton's squad is not that good?
Yeah, I think he got the most that he could have out of that Brighton squad at that moment. But like I said, sorry.
So sorry to keep interrupting you. So for you, you're thinking Brighton are what, like a side between 9th to 12th, right? Most of the
time. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to counter that by saying I don't think that Potter necessarily maximized them. I think he just got them more or less around their level. I don't think Potter's better than De Zerbi, for example.
Can I ask you why you think that?
Because as you said, a lot of Potter's praise comes from the fact that he's adaptable, that his team constantly changes, constantly changes shape, and that is a credit in itself. But there might be a ceiling as to what he's actually capable of doing on any one side, because it seems like he sets up more or less to counter the opposition more so than he does to dominate games in the way that you'd expect from a top side. So in a way, I'd say he's quite similar to Emery in terms of his actual level, in terms of what we've seen from him. Because Emery's a great tactician, but not necessarily a manager whose philosophy is this domineering one that kind of sets the tone for big games.
But then, so what would you say Chelsea's point was then of, I guess, appointing him? Would they not, the main goal not to maximize Chelsea's squad? Is he capable of doing that?
I think that they hope he can. And I don't think that Potter's a bad coach by any stretch of the imagination. And to try and judge him properly right now is foolish, because this team is actually just bad. I need that to be, I need that to be like the forefront of any conversation we have about Chelsea, that this team is like horrific.
But they spent so much money. Like, how?
Yeah, but look where they spent it, bro. Like Chelsea's midfield sucks, bro. Like they don't have there's not a single midfielder in Chelsea's squad that would start for any other top 6 side. Like guaranteed. For who?
Wait. Who?
I think Kovacic can get into a lot of top 6 teams, bro.
Like who, bro?
Like Liverpool,
United, Liverpool.
Who would he bench at United? Bruno, because he's not benching Eriksen.
Probably Eriksen.
He's therefore not benching
Eriksen.
He's therefore not benching Eriksen. Forget it.
I don't know. I feel like you guys are I think Kovacic's whole career has been underrated, but we'll go on to that for another day, bro.
No, I have time. We can set up we can set up an hour this week. You tell what you guys look like. And we can talk about the fact that Kovacic has won the Champions League 4 times, and he's not started in the round of 16 going forward for any of those runs.
And also, just because you think he's had an underrated career, he's not better than Eriksen. Eriksen, in his time in the Premier League, I would say maybe after his second season, which was that was like from 2015 onwards, 2016, he's been one of the best midfielders in the league. I don't think Kovacic at any point has been that.
I don't think Kovacic has been top 5 in the league at any point in time.
Oh, really?
There was arguments where you probably think the only guy who was ahead of De Bruyne, who was behind De Bruyne, was Eriksen. It's just when you play for Spurs, you can get dusted, bro.
No, but no, sorry. My point essentially was in terms of Man United, we do lack a ball carrying midfielder. Kovacic is that, and I do think he could elevate our sides like a little bit. That's just
look. Profile wise, I hear you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean. Like, he could actually come in and not take us to a new level, but he could improve us. That's my point.
I think my belief is just that he wouldn't improve you in a way that you'd be better off with him instead of Ericsson.
Okay.
Like, to have him there as well in the squad, dope. I don't think he's
For sure.
Okay, yeah.
But back to the main point about Chelsea. Like, when you look at how they spent their money, they spent almost all of it basically trying to fix the errors that they made in the season before by not extending Rudiger's contract.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say letting go of Christensen was a mistake, but if you don't have a succession plan, you kind of screwing yourselves over. Of course, they've been unlucky with injuries here and there as well. But looking at their squad as a whole, bro, like,
Yeah.
and at the start of the season, I think you agreed with us when we said we didn't think Chelsea would finish top 4.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything in this time that suggests, oh no, we were massively wrong about that because these players are actually a level above. Bro, I think Chelsea are more or less like exactly where they should be.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Eighth place is low, but who should they be ahead of? Maybe Brighton.
Arsenal fans, bro. Man,
Maybe. No, but wait. I'm not going to talk about Arsenal and Chelsea. That's done. There's no space for comparison. We're not doing the same things.
Might I just add the only, I guess, defense I have of Potter is that with all the points that both of you have made, I think at Brighton he was able to recruit players that suit his style of football. Yeah. Obviously, Chelsea players are a level above the Brighton players, so I do believe managers should be better with what they're given. Okay, don't dust Chelsea like that. But like, I know exactly why you're doing this. But it's so hard for me to have judgment on Potter because he hasn't even been able to recruit any of the players that are there. Yeah. Like, he's dealing. But with that being said, I do think he should be getting a better tune from the players. But he's trying everything. He's changing a lot. But I won't be able to judge his progress with this side until he's at least figured out which players he would like to keep if he's awarded at that time, obviously, because we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I think I still think there's room for him to do really well.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. Yeah. But the main reason I wanted to ask this is: do you guys think that Newcastle are ready to actually put up a challenge for top 4, or you expect them to fall away as the season goes on? It's still only 15 games in for some sides. Some only played 14 as well.
Can we answer after the World Cup?
I need you to tell me now. How do you feel about them?
Top 6.
Top 6?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Top 6. I don't know how many of them. I think Bruno's the only guy going to the World Cup. Correct? Oh, and Wilson. And Pope, but Pope is going to be fine. Or Trippier. I think if all of them stay fit, they can have a solid run for top 6.
So right now they're just kind of overachieving. They've been fortunate that United and Liverpool haven't started the best ultimately.
Yeah, I think so. But I do back them in their home games to beat almost any side in the league on their day.
Like, for me, it's really hard to critique Newcastle because they've only lost one.
Yeah.
And that one game was in the 90th minute to Liverpool.
And it was Fugazi at that. It was...
Like, I don't know. Like, I look at the squad and I want to say I agree with you. I think there's no way they get top 4 like this. But we're almost at 19 league games. You're saying at home you think Newcastle could get points off most sides. They've already played City. And they went toe-to-toe with them, and they really could have gotten a win in that game. Like, and you're saying at St. James's Park, you think they could beat most sides. To me, it just sounds like we don't want to say that they might already be that good.
No. I just think the other teams in the long run might be able to perform better than them away. Not that they're not capable, but it's a marathon, bro. It's like me calling for Arsenal to be doing a title charge now. I know it's what I want, but we have to be a little bit realistic at some points. It's not fear. It's not wanting to call it out too early. It's just I think we just know how this World Cup can change everything.
Definitely.
And until then, it's so hard to predict how the season will go. Or maybe I'm just not confident to do that yet. Count your blessings.
Just if I can speak there, Newcastle are not finishing top 6. They'll come 8th or 7th. That's just my take on that. I do think we'll start to see teams like Liverpool, Chelsea start to, I guess, click into action later on after the World Cup. I just think that's just the way it goes, bro. Newcastle, great team, great players, great profiles all along the team, from Trippier to Almiron to even Isaac, who's not even here yet, to Dan Burn playing left back. Like, I think right now they're on a high momentum. That's what's really taking them through this. And I think the World Cup was actually doing more harm than good for them, because they're going to get out of that rhythm where it's just like every week, win on win. But now you're coming from a long break. You're going to have to try, I guess, get back to those levels again. Then other teams are going to be wanting to come, I guess, for the second half of the season and do very well. So that's why, for me, I'm expecting them to come 6th or 7th. As well as the fact that I think now a lot of teams, seeing how good Newcastle are, might sit up in like a low block, and I don't think they really have the creativity to break through that. So I think that's when we're going to see a lot of issues for them. But I don't know. That's just my take on it. Hopefully they do well.
That's valid. That's valid, especially the point about creativity, because they do have a lot of draws this season. I think that might be what hinders them most, because I think right now they're just very difficult to beat, but they're not necessarily overwhelming sides in terms of chances they create. Like even against Chelsea, only scoring the one against the Chelsea side they played, you could ask a few questions about it, especially like the type of goal they scored. It's like,
Yeah, and like I've been impressed with Willock as well, putting in some goals. Obviously, he's been like playing that, I guess, at this level for a while, but I don't know.
I actually wanted to direct the Joe Willock question to Khanya. Tielemans or Willock?
That's a
who are you taking for us?
I have to say Tielemans, purely because his passing range is just better. It really, really is just better. I feel like Tielemans can contribute to a game, like can help control a game better than Willock can. I think Willock is better. Like he's more dynamic, he's more mobile.
And don't you think we'd need that though? That's why I was asking. I know that I share the same sentiment that Tielemans has a better passing range, but I think that's one of the things we might be missing, or what we'd need as a replacement for Xhaka if he gets injured or anything. We'd need some form of dynamic midfielder.
So I would like to remind you of a player who returned after the World Cup, Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh yeah, okay.
If I had to choose between Smith-Rowe and Willock, I'm going to choose Smith-Rowe, even though I'm not the biggest Smith-Rowe fan, and I think that he offers what you want Willock to offer for us. Whereas in terms of like a technical midfielder, Tielemans is like, I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I have to say him. I can't choose Willock. I've seen Willock. I know Willock. I was happy when he was sold. Like, I'm happy he's doing well. I really am, but I'm glad that the Willock era at Arsenal is done. Like, he's fine at Newcastle. For a side competing for top 4/top 6, Willock is definitely good enough for that. Yeah. I don't think Willock is good enough to contribute to a side, at least over the full 38 games, that's competing for a title. Unfortunately, at least not now. Maybe later on in his career he'll be that guy, but I wouldn't want Willock at Arsenal. If that's who we ended up signing, I'd be very hacked.
No, that's fair.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you guys, so do you guys think that Chelsea have a chance of doing better the second half of the season? Because it's some people have been looking at it as a mini preseason. For a side like Chelsea, I think that they might benefit quite a lot. I know Mvu also said Liverpool would in the same way. Do you guys think that after the break we might see a different Chelsea, or do you think Chelsea have to just wrap this season up entirely and just not look for results but just focus on performances?
I think we see a different Chelsea. I think we see a different Chelsea, a different Liverpool. I am still unconvinced about Spurs, albeit that Conte is, like, we know he's a very good manager, but I don't see them get grinding results like they do now when those two specific teams are doing a lot better. yeah, I think we see a different Chelsea side. I'm not entirely sure how many of their players are going to the World Cup, but I think they have some depth where they can survive Jan, and that's all that matters.
Interesting.
So, Toby?
I did. The thing is, it all rests on Graham Potter, because if he is able to, I don't want to say put his ego to one side, but put, I guess, his whole philosophy to one side in terms of sticking to a specific tactic and just building around it, creating a core so players know exactly what they're going to be doing week in, week out. I think when you look at teams like Arsenal, teams like, I guess, Man City, they have a clear idea of what they have to do every week, even though it might be repetitive, whether that's Arsenal counter-pressing and then taking the ball quickly, moving, as Malcolm would say, being direct, being quick. So I think once Potter stops all this, I guess, playing with a front three, split strikers, all this different stuff, I think maybe if they build more of a core like way of playing, I think they'll be able to come back. But if you continue to do this switching and changing, it's not going to help, bro. It's just going to create more confusion. And I think the players are going to start to throw him under the bus like they usually do at Chelsea. So I think he has to be careful.
I don't see him doing that in Jan. I think he's experimented now, and I think in Jan, with whoever comes back fully fit and ready, I think we'll start to see a more consistent lineup. Maybe not a stone set one, but a much more consistent one. I think he's had his time
not even just the lineup, bro. I'm talking about the just
formations.
Just the way that you play. Because even that interview with what's that guy's name, the Brentford manager, the guy was asking, bro, why are you changing your formation so much? Like, why do you keep on changing everything? Man said, which is a valid point. He said, no matter how much you change the formation, the way in which we play has to stay the same. But I feel like I don't see that happening anymore. So I don't know. That's just my take on it, though.
Maybe it's early signs of imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah,
no ways you testing him.
No, bro. What do you mean?
Maybe I don't know.
It's true, bro. It could be. Man even had to get a fresh cut. He said, "Oh, I'm looking." They say I'm looking different now. He said, I got a new cut. They say I'm looking very handsome now, something like that. So he just feels like, I feel like maybe it is imposter syndrome. That's what I think it is, bro. It might be.
So just to confirm, will you say how different do you think Chelsea could possibly be? Do you think there's still a hope of a top 4 race for them or not?
Definitely.
No, but I think we just see well, there's hope, yes, but I don't see them getting it. But I think all it is for me is that we'll just start seeing a more consistent Chelsea. That's all. A more consistent style of play, a more consistent lineup. That's all. Whether they get results, I really don't know. I don't think they will.
Sorry, just to interject there, Khanya, I think it's kind of a similar situation there at Bayern. I think we saw a situation where Nagelsmann in the beginning was trying a lot of different shit, bro. We saw that. Remember how he's changing formations, putting players in random positions, and that's just the way they like. I guess those type of managers are in terms of like they love to create different changes to systems and all that stuff. But I think within the last few weeks, he's had like a certain starting 11 and a certain style of play. So I think that's helped them as to why we've seen Bayern a lot better these last few weeks. And I think maybe the same will happen to Graham Potter. So hopefully.
I just also want to put it out there. Sorry, Kanye. I just want to put it out there. I am a believer. I believe in him as a manager. So that's why I am quite optimistic. I wanted to work out for him.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's confused out there, I'm a Potter believer. I think he will eventually come right if he's given the time to do well.
Well, that's fair. I think you expect him to do well this season is just unfair, though. Like, I could spend the entire episode dissecting this Chelsea squad. My brother, there's a lot of dead weight here. Like, they aren't more than like 5 players in the squad that Chelsea should definitely keep. In my eyes,
you're so cynical with Chelsea,
bro. Honestly, it's a hatred in these hearts.
But that's because I'm right about Chelsea. They're 8. I told you guys. My hate has led to hyper analysis. I've spent more time watching Chelsea than I've spent watching like Villa or Leeds, for example. Leeds up until recently. Leeds in the past few weeks have like been genuinely good TV.
Yeah.
But I've spent so much time watching Chelsea. I really do feel like I have a solid grounding of like the level of some of these players, and a lot of the guys here cannot be in a side that wants to like go for league titles. Like they won't. They can't. Boys, they done. It's done. They lied to us.
Is Harvard in one of those players for you? Or no?
I haven't kept him in mind at this point in time. Right now, he is not one of the players who I think Chelsea must definitely keep.
He should just go to Bayern. But that's
and
for
he
another.
do well there. But that's
Yeah.
enough Chelsea. That's enough Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you guys, who are you guys' top individual performers so far this season? You guys can pick from any league. If you want to pick from the Prem, that's fine too. I'm curious if you were to give out your awards at this moment in time. Who's impressed you the most?
Ooh, tough.
How many players should we keep it at? 2, 3?
Yeah, how many?
Give us your top three.
Toby, go first.
Top 3. Okay. Let me think. I'm gonna have to start. This is a bit of a rogue one. Let me just give some daps to some defenders. I'm talking about the Leicester City defender. What's his name? Wout Weghorst? Is that how you say his name?
That is how you say his name. You're correct.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think he's brought a lot of stability to that Leicester back four. Him and Amate, when they play together, they're actually not that bad. I thought, like, when you hear the name Amate and this guy together, you would think, yo, I don't know what these guys are gonna do in that defense. But Amate's been putting a lot of good shifts. This guy too, he's very vocal on the field, from what I'm hearing. And I guess he even got a call up to the Belgium side for the World Cup. So that's my first guy, I guess. Done really well this season. Number 2, I'm going to have to obviously go for Lisandro Martinez. I think he's had a bigger impact on Manchester United than Haaland had on Man City. That's for me personally. I think when you look at how this guy has stabilized our defense, the aggression, the way he rattles players, he had even Leon Bailey crying on Twitter, saying he's tired of refs in the Premier League. Man was crying about how he couldn't breathe because of this guy, I don't know, bumping his chest or something like that. But yeah, Lisandro Martinez. And then third, I don't know. Third is quite difficult, man. Maybe I'm going to have to obviously give to my uncle, Victor Osimhen, because he's cold, man. He's just so good right now. And hopefully Napoli don't overvalue him. If they can value him at least 80 million euros. I know it won't happen. I know it won't happen, but because I'm tired of United spending 100 M's on Oaks. But yeah, that's my third guy, Victor Osimhen. Very hard.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna steer away from your Neymar's, Messi's.
Yeah.
So my first, even I'm not even gonna include. Are you pronouncing Kvicha?
Kvaratskhelia is the pronunciation, I believe.
From George.
Mine, a Napoli player, Kim Min-jae. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, the centre back.
Yes. Very, very, very impressive.
Really?
Masterclass after masterclass after masterclass. I don't think he has been highlighted enough and his importance in this Napoli team. He's impressed me so much.
Is he a ball playing centre back? Is he like physical? What is his vibes?
I think almost all of their defenders are ball playing centre backs. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like his biggest strength, but I think Napoli's defenders are forced to be able to play like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My second one is Vitinha. I know that might be a bit surprising, but I've enjoyed watching almost every single game I've seen him play for PSG this season. You know, there's these like players tend to, if Verratti does it as well, they try always give the best, like they'll try give Messi and Neymar the ball all the time. They'll try give Ronaldo the ball all the time. Like players just tend to do that. Give the best player the ball. His decision making is not based on, oh, let me look for Messi, let me look for Neymar. He looks for the best options. which has been so refreshing to see from a midfielder that has his type of role. Because so often I've seen with a lot of football teams that, oh, let's get the ball to this player, let's get the ball to this player, where he can drive with the ball, his defensive work rate is tops. Yeah, I think more than anything, I'm just really impressed with this decision making. So he's really, really, really impressed me a lot this season. My last one, I have to go with an Arsenal player. I'm still undecided between it being Partey or Saliba. I think I'll side Saliba. Yes, he's young, and there are still the mistakes there in him. We have two very young centre backs, but his confidence and trust in his ability has been so good to see. I think he's dominant, he's strong, he can pass really well. I don't think I've hardly seen a game where he's just been rattled as well. I think that was more of us not having a defensive midfield. Like, we had never had defensive cover for our centre backs. So we were already quite open. You had to pick up different pockets of space to try to defend from. But yes, that was probably one of his worst games. But really been impressed. I think he's one player that has stayed consistently good as he was last season in the French league, and I didn't necessarily expect him to do so well coming to Arsenal. I think those have been one of my favorite players to watch. But I think they've really, really, all three of those players can look back at this first half of the season and just be really impressed with the way that they've performed.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I like the Saliba. I really do. I'm shocked though that neither of you had took the time to appreciate a player who is probably top 3 strikers in the world at this moment in time.
Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus. Thank you, Toby, because that's my number one pick. That's my number one pick. That for me is the player that I also can look towards and say, without him, this title charge, I don't care about the goals, I don't care about the missed chances. Just use your eyes. Just watch Arsenal on a week-to-week basis. That is one of the best, in my eyes, that's the most technically gifted striker in the Premier League right now.
Yeah, that's not wild. That's true.
Yeah.
Can I give a reason as to why I didn't pick him?
Let me hear you.
I think, like you've also said before, we know I think he's improved us so much, and it's maybe like some people are a bit shocked at his quality, but what we see from Jesus now, it's not. I don't think none of us knew he was this talented. I just think before Jesus signed for City, and before he refined his game, this is the type of players I thought he could become. I thought he could be. So yes, he's been the top performer, but the reason why he's not in my list per se is because I'm not so surprised at how good he is.
I'm not surprised.
I won't lie, I'm a bit touched that the reasoning is, no, he's already good, so it's fine.
No.
but let me finish the rest of my top 3 and we can get back to that if necessary.
Okay.
Otherwise, I also want to shout out Zambo and Guisa at Napoli. He stepped up massively since Fabian Ruiz shifted to PSG. I think he's definitely gone under the radar as someone who has been pivotal in Napoli's title charge. And lastly, my third pick actually has to be Christian Eriksen. Honestly, I don't think United are able to build what they've built for themselves and try and create this top four charge if they don't have a player of that ilk in the side, especially after failing to get Eriksen. I don't know what that side would look like if they didn't have Eriksen there.
Right.
And yeah, I think that he deserves his flowers. Coming back after a heart attack, 18 months ago, to being where he is right now. This is a ridiculous story that
Bro.
we're watching unfold. This is not normal. Like it shouldn't be that you're able to come back and do this. Like most people who have heart attacks can't play professional football. Christian Eriksen's return to still be this important, to still be this good, and to be able to play 90 minutes as frequently as he does.
Bro.
Like this is honestly, I'm like it's inspiring, genuinely. I don't plan to have a heart attack anytime soon, but I can imagine someone like people who watch him thinking, dude, that's not a recovery that most people think is possible at any point in time.
That is a very good shout. And like just to add to how much he's impressed me, he's made me realize how bad Bruno is, bro. Like I've always known Bruno was a bit bad. Like without his goals and 50 through balls that were for land, he just doesn't do a midfielder's job. And I think he will benefit the most out of all of the United players from Eriksen being there. I think we've actually seen that as well, because some of his decision making has been improving.
Bruno, hey, that's a story for another day. I'll be talking for the whole podcast if I speak on that guy.
You told us he's better than De Bruyne.
Yo, so you bring out the receipts, bro.
Listen. Toby was wrong, but I must defend him here. What Bruno did in his first 6 months at United, it looked like he was something different.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
He made all his teammates make sense.
Makes sense.
Like
bro.
they are better footballers without a doubt. There's no one that could have done for United what Bruno was doing, knowing what we know about Ole's football holistically, the same way he did.
He deceived us, and I don't blame. He got me, bro.
I'm at a point now where I don't even want to say he deceived us. I just think like he's a very niche type of player. I don't think Bruno can play his position the way you'd expect. Like him learning to having to learn to slow down as a midfielder is a really weird thing. Like you think he'd have like an innate sense for tempo, but he doesn't. And I don't think that having to learn that this late in your career, that's a journey on its own. And you wouldn't have played as like top class midfielders to have picked it up from them anyway. And he still found a strange way of being effective. I'm here to stand for Bruno. I'm tired. We cannot erase what he was doing.
No, yeah, you're right. Like I can't say that I'm never gonna say he's garbage. But I say in the sense that he deceived us, as in all those goals and assists, it really just hid where he lacks.
Oh no, he deceived you. You thought he was
I was about to say he deceived.
No, he deceived us, bro.
No, not us.
No, not us.
No, not us.
You, brother.
You were the only one making those comparisons.
Okay, but my point is this, right? I think it's gotten to the point where Ten Hag, and obviously we're not going to speak on United for too long, but I think it's gotten to the point where Ten Hag has seen that this Oak can't be trusted in that attacking midfielder position. So we're to the point where he moved him to right mid or right wing or wherever he's playing now on that right side, and usually we move Eriksen up as that player playing behind Martial or McTominay now as well. That's another thing. Remember, I think Khanya, you were speaking about McTominay saying he's not that type of midfield. He should be playing high up in the field, and I think even Ten Hag has seen that. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see the way Bruno's now journey develops, because I don't think Ten Hag trusts him as that player that he can use in that position. So I don't know. I think we're going to be signing someone else. Whether we bring in Tadic for 12 months or someone else, I don't know.
Yeah, Bruno will be going back to Italy in 2 seasons.
I don't see Bruno going anywhere. I won't lie to you. But that's enough of our top individuals. So I honestly just quickly look at the top 5 leagues and just your brief overview, like just some of your feelings about some of them. We've done the Prem. I guess we could touch on the relegation battle. Right now, it's Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and Wolves in the bottom 3. Do you guys expect those 3 to be the teams that go down or not?
Can you repeat the bottom 3 again?
Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Southampton. No, not Southampton. Wait, who's lost?
Wolves,
Southampton, and
Nottingham.
Okay, Nottingham is going down. That is my definite shout. They're going down.
Yeah.
The rest, I don't know as of yet. Maybe Southampton. Okay, Southampton and Nottingham are my 2 shots for relegation.
Not West Ham.
No,
Okay.
no. David Moyes has had a career of really, really good seasons and some where you have to weather the storm, but he will not get West Ham relegated. Even at Everton, top eight, top eight, top eight. One season where you're probably a bit far off it, but the season after you'll be back again. There's nothing that will make me doubt his ability to get the team playing at the level that they're meant to be playing at.
Really? Okay. I guess from my point of view, I don't know. I was gonna ask Khanya, well, you guys that are very into the La Liga stuff, in terms of the Lopetegui as a coach, what type of, do you know what his playing style usually is?
He's like last season specifically, Sevilla had a really, really good defensive record.
Okay.
My initial concern when they announced him was that Wolves were struggling to score, so I didn't really know if that's exactly what he's coming to do. But Wolves have conceded 24 goals already this season, so they do say that you do need to have a base before anything else. So I think we can offer that. I don't imagine Wolves will go down. Having especially after having watched our game against them, I'd be very shocked. There's too many good players there. And I do think Lopetegui is a good enough coach to just ensure that they finish above the likes of Everton, Leeds, and Bournemouth. So, yeah, Wolves won't go down.
So you're saying Wolves? You're saying Lopetegui's Wolves will end above Lampard's Everton, right?
Yes, because Lopetegui is better than Lampard, and Wolves' squad is better than Everton's.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
No, I don't love Lampard. I don't like what you're doing here. I just said I just acknowledged that I was harsh in how I slated him. I'm not saying he's a world beater as a coach. There's still a limit at this moment in time.
So yeah, I was gonna say Wolves. I don't know. I think they'll be able to make it, but I think my worry is West Ham and I say that because I think the personnel in which they bought this season has affected the way they used to play tremendously. Because I think what we realized is that West Ham last season were just I would say were based on being a counter-attacking side, right? And I think the introduction of Shamaka has really changed the way and Paqueta has changed the way in which they approach games and which they play. I think there was even a stat that was talking about how effective they were last season compared to this season. Apparently, last season they were 39.2% more effective in terms of their counter attacks that ended with shots, whereas this season it's at 30%. So I think we're seeing them being less efficient in that sense, which is, I guess, what made them very lethal last season. You have players like Anthony Bowen, and I think that's what hindered Bowen this season is that we haven't seen him being played in what he's most effective at, which I guess is counter-attacking. But yeah, I think for me, West Ham, they're going to go down.
You don't think that West Ham would just sack Moyes before it got to that point?
Yeah, sorry. So that's what I was going to say. If they sack him before, they'll have a chance. I just don't understand why they would not sack this guy and bring him Poch. It's the perfect relationship right now. You have a team that's very creative-based. Poch can succeed at this club, but still you're sticking with Moyes. But I understand what he's done last season. You can't really just sack him like that. But I think, West Ham will be in serious trouble if they stick with Moyes. And then Cooper, you know what I think of that guy. He was my three guys I named was Gerrard, Cooper, and Moyes to be sacked. So one of them's already gone. I'm waiting for these next two. But then, so I think Southampton will be out of here. Everton they'll find a way. Lampard will find a way. I believe in him. But I think West Ham, Nottingham Forest, and Southampton will be in trouble.
Okay. No, decent shots. And then we'll switch quickly to other leagues. We know in Syria, is it too soon to say that the title race is done? Napoli are currently 8 points ahead of AC Milan.
No,
you guys think that there's a race there?
It's done.
It's over. Toby?
Yeah.
Bro, I think it's over.
Then the top four race, I think we've spoken about Juve kind of finding their way back in the top three. The current top four, for those who are unaware, it's Napoli, AC Milan, Juventus, and Lazio. Inter on the same points as Lazio, and they're behind on goal difference. I think head-to-head. I can't remember if they play. Actually, they are. So I don't know. Do you guys expect Inter to make top four, and that's the top four, or you expect something else?
I think the top four ends up being Milan, Juventus, and Inter. My dark horse is Atlanta.
Okay.
Atalanta. Yeah. I don't think I don't think Lazio. I don't think Sarri.
Shout out Ivo.
Sarri gets them to the end.
Okay.
Sorry, just to interject. I'm just looking at now. Immobile has what 7 goals and 5 assists this season. Fuck.
Yes, sir.
You guys will respect this guy, and I told you guys about this guy long ago, almost 3 years ago, and people laughed at me.
Well, what have you told us about him?
Well,
What
bro.
would you like us to say?
Bro,
Toby, you
he
like doing
deserves
this,
his
bro.
flowers, bro. I've told you, he deserves to be in the top 10 strikers of all time. But Oaks don't want to.
What?
Of all time?
Of all time?
Sorry, no, not all time. Sorry, that's a cap. Of the last 10 years. Of the last 10 years, he deserves to be there, bro. Just the way he's been performing. Oaks, come on.
Look,
come on.
I don't have my list of top 10 strikers right now, but I don't have many lists like rating anyone where I'm saying, yo, Immobile is definitely up there. Maybe top 5.
That boy
Serie A
cold
strikers who played for Lazio. I can say that definitely. But yeah, and then in La Liga, Mvu, this is the one thing that might bring you guys some joy. You guys are still top of the league. Do you expect to hold on to it? You're gonna have a less demanding European schedule. You only conceded 5 league goals this season, which I think has been very underappreciated. Like Xavi might not be the complete coach at this moment in time, but conceding 5 goals in 14 games, I think that does deserve some kind of credit, don't you?
It does. But a lot of that is also Ter Stegen. He's doing he's performing like his old self again, but he's doing what De Gea was doing with United and just saving and saving and saving and saving. So credit where credit is due. Yes, the manager has done that, but we haven't as a team or as a unit set ourselves up defensively to the point where we're so sound that this is a reflection of how good we are defensively. That is not what I think. I think that is a reflection of how well Ter Stegen has been performing this season, not how defensively sound we are. Whereas I think when we get back the likes of Araujo, he's so important for this team. I think when he gets back, then there's a big difference in our defensive abilities, and also we play a lot of our games on the front foot as well. So it does help Xavi a lot. But yeah, I think that has more. The 5 goals conceded has more to do with Ter Stegen than it has to do with our defense, and no one is noticing it. Ter Stegen has been saving us again and again and again and again. Anyone that's listening to us right now, please just go watch, if it's possible, just go watch Barca's performances this season and just see how many saves Ter Stegen has been making. Important saves as well.
Yeah, my boy, you do not like your club. I'm so sad. This is not what I was expecting from you.
No, I love my club. I love my club, but
okay, you do love your club. I just think you are almost scarily a realist when it comes to Barca. But maybe that's necessary. You've suffered a lot as a fan. So
I have.
To answer the question, do you think you guys will win the league this season?
Yes, if we win the home leg of Clasico, yes, we do.
Okay. Toby, do you think Madrid will win it or Barca win it?
Barca.
Oh wow. Okay, no, I think Madrid are going to win it inevitably.
By how many points?
No, it'll be close. It'll be close. I wouldn't say more than like 4 points. I don't think it'll be bigger than that between the two of them this season.
Where do you see Barca losing their points then? So I think that's the thing I'm struggling to see. I've struggled to see where we lose most of our points besides the Madrid game, and I don't think we lose Atletico. I don't think maybe we struggle against Sociedad, but I don't see it. Where do you see us losing points?
You don't have to lose the games to drop points. You could very easily pick up a few draws in games against Valencia, games against Getafe, Celta Vigo. Sevilla aren't going to be as bad as they were at the start of the season after the World Cup either. Like, I think La Liga is very strangely competitive. Like, the title race is between those two sides, of course, but everyone else can, they always
can hold their
play a role.
It
almost doesn't matter. like how well Barca or Madrid do against each other. It's about what they can do against the other sides. And sides like Sevilla, Celta Vigo, and I want to say Betis, but they've looked less threatening in big games this season. But I imagine Barca and Madrid are they'll know if they win the title from those games more so than the Clasico itself.
That is why I like La Liga. Just the point that you've made. So, but yeah, okay, I hear.
Yeah, and lastly, I just want to give a big shout out to Benfica. They are still unbeaten, and I'm loving the story. Honestly, I'm loving this for them. I hope they go as far as possible for the Champions League. But lads, I think that is us for today.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the World Cup. I'm not necessarily because I think the football's going to be great, but I think that the storylines that come out of that are comedy gold at this point. Any closing remarks from you guys?
Ronaldo to lift, yes sir.
Just on that Benfica point, was it the Porto manager that gave that press conference that was similar to Mourinho's about no matter how the season goes, Porto will win the league? How many points are they? How many points behind are they now? Like 6, 7?
8.
8. That's gonna age very well. My closing remarks, before we get to our World Cup episodes, I need England to get knocked out in the group stages so that Arsenal can continue this charge. I need a very fit Saka. I need a informed Ben White and Ramsdale to steer us into the end of the season.
Fair enough. Tobi,
The last point is just enjoy the World Cup, lads. Enjoy the World Cup. Soak it in. That's all I can say. And Nigeria, don't worry. I'll catch you guys next time.
And that is us. Lads, thank you for joining me today. This has been Debate Never Die, and we'll be back with more episodes soon.